Hello, folks, and welcome back to twitch.tv/gameswithnick. Today is our streamathon day. Essentially, I have the day off. I'm not playing any games, personally, for fun. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just stream most of the day. We're definitely going to be playing some Assassin's Creed later in the day. We're definitely going to be playing some Batman, to make up for the fact that we won't be playing the game later, this week. But I wanted to start by trying to see what it is like to stream 999. We actually ran into some technical difficulties 10 minutes ago as I started streaming it, but I think we've kind of settled the audio now, so things should be good. Um, so, yeah, let's just play through this game from the beginning. And the reason why I'm playing this game, this is actually a visual novel with escape rooms in between the visual novel segments. And I'm playing this game partly because the escape rooms segments are really fun, and partly because the sequel to this game, Virtue's Last Reward, is one of the best games ever, and I really want to play it on stream if it is fun enough to play these kind of games on stream. Let's go ahead and start this game once again. Game is fiction. All named characters and incidents portrayed in this production are fictitious. Or we'll be playing in the novel mode, because that's where you get a lot more of the inner monologue of the character. 9. Ooh, counting down. Yeah, looks like a big ship. Looks like the ship we climbed in Rusty Bucket Bay the other day. Am I right? 2, 1. A loud noise startled Junpei awake, and his eyes snapped open.
What? What the?
As he adjusted to the light, he realized that he didn't recognize his surroundings. With a crack, Junpei's head connected with something metal. He rolled over and threw out his hand to steady himself, but he found himself groping at empty air.
What? Whoa!
His balance lost and his still fuzzy mind struggling to understand what was going on, Junpei tumbled down to the cold gray floor.
Ouch! God damn it! Ah! What the hell? A bed? I fell pretty far.
Switch back to novel. It's a little bunk bed, in fact. Junpei had fallen, apparently, from the topmost bunk.
That really hurt.
His shoulder hurt, his knee hurt, his hip hurt, his entire body hurt. You could feel a bump forming in his forehead, where it slammed against the slow ceiling.
Damn, my eyesight's kind of blurry. Must have hit my head. No, wait. That's not it.
At first, he thought the tremor that ran through his legs was just another effect of his rude awakening. But as he looked around, he realized it was real. The whole room shaking.
An earthquake. But it's shaking too fast for that.
Then again, Junpei had no idea what it was, if not an earthquake.
Anyway.
Junpei rubbed a growing bump on his head and gingerly climbed to his feet. His balance regained, he finally took his first good look around the room. And muttered to himself.
Where am I?
His pain momentarily forgotten in the face of this confusion of his circumstances, Junpei looked around the room once again. Minutes passed while Junpei struggled to get his bearings. Then, as suddenly as they had begun, tremors ceased.
Wait, it stopped?
A cold silence fell over the room. From somewhere far away, Junpei could hear the sound of metals.
What's that sound?
No, I'm still not happy with the audio back. I'll lower the game a little bit. And I will actually introduce myself. might switch to a different mic next. Alright, how does that sound? That's better. That makes me dominate over the overall value, I think. Okay. Alright, sorry for that. If you ever try streaming, you'll soon learn. Audio is the worst fucking thing to fix. In an attempt to distract himself, Junpei looked around the room once more. Oh, now we're peeking. Change that to be 10 decibel boost. In an attempt to distract himself, Junpei looked around the room once more. There was a stove that looked more antique than functional. The three-level bunk bed had mattresses that were so thin that they were little more than blankets. On the other side of the room was an identical bed, and set in the wall between the beds was a slightly dirty iron door.
That's...
The first thing Junpei noticed about the door was the number roughly emblazoned across it. On the surface of the door, in red paint, someone had written 5.
5? What's this 5 mean?
We definitely want to play in novel mode, because all of the stuff that I just read, we skipped the first time we played through this. So, yeah, novel mode is the way to go. Suspicious and still utterly confused, Junpei approached the door slowly. Standing, at last in front of the door, Junpei grabbed hold of the L-shaped handle. The push yielded no movement and pulled the same result.
It won't open.
It didn't matter how much he pushed and shoved, the handle wouldn't budge. Next to the door was an odd-looking device that reminded Junpei of a card reader.
What's this? Is this keeping the door shut?
Junpei knocked hard on the door.
Hey! Hello? Is anyone there? Open the door!
Oh, why is there bleeding?
The Nonary game. Hey! Hello? Is anyone there?
Why is there still bleeding in my audio? God damn it. I guess we'll just have to accept it. I think it actually does not affect the quality of the audio too much for the viewer, but it drives me nuts to see the little wave like jump up.
Open the door!
There was no response. Junpei threw his left fist into the door and stopped.
What the hell is this?
He wasn't really sure what else to say. On his left wrist was a bracelet of a sort he'd never seen before. In the center was a large LCD display.
Watch. It doesn't look like one. 5. That's the same as the door.
True, the numbers were the same, but he had no idea what that might mean. All he knew was that it was strange, and now he wanted it off. Junpei flipped his hand over as if to remove a watch, but...
What? How do I take this off?
This is still driving me nuts. Okay, I need to change something. Remove my mic boost at a system level. Boost it up within OBS. This should balance things out, hope. The other side of the bracelet was solid. No buckle, no clasp, nothing. He sighed and flipped the thing back over. There were a number of rivets around the rim of the face. Perhaps...
Maybe pushing something on this will work?
He pushed them, but nothing happened. On a watch, there might be dials for adjusting the time. But on this bracelet, they did nothing.
Nothing. Damn. Guess I'll have to force it off.
Growing more desperate, he began to tug at it. However...
No good. This stupid thing won't come off.
Steel ring ran from the face around Junpei's wrist and back into the face. He wouldn't be pulling the bracelet off anytime in the near future.
What the hell is the deal with this thing?
Frustration and desperation were beginning to mix. The reality of the situation began to dawn fully on Junpei. Too much was happening and none of it made sense. Junpei felt as though he were about to explode.
Where am I? And why the hell am I here? Why? What the hell happened to me? My head.
Pain bloomed, but he did his best to shake it off. He raised his head.
Huh.
It was at that moment he noticed the window.
This is...
The window was round, rimmed in riveted brass, like a window from an early 20th century ship. How terrible is it to switch midstream the mic? Probably pretty terrible. Every game behaves so differently. Let me lower the open threshold or my noise gate. See if that helps. Because I felt like I was losing some of the things I was saying.
Hold on. Am I on a ship?
Junpei walked slowly toward the window. He could see nothing beyond it but thick, impenetrable darkness.
I can't see anything.
Because now Junpei's love.
If only it wasn't so dark outside.
Junpei squinting, trying to see something, anything. It was at that moment.
Huh? What the? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What the hell is going on here?
A crack split the glass of the window, and for a moment Junpei stared at it. Then the window burst, and water began to pour in the room.
What the hell? God damn it!
Junpei yelled and spun around. His feet slipping on the water already coming through a window, he ran toward the door.
Hey! Anyone! Is anyone there? Come on, if you're there, say something!
There was no reply. As Junpei screamed and pounded on the door, the water began to rise. It was now ankle deep on the floor and rising quickly toward his knees.
It's not stopping. Not good. Not good at all. Okay, I need to find a way out, and fast.
Junpei ran her hand across his forehead, brushing the sweat out of his eyes, and looked around the room. Alright, and after a lot of struggling with audio issues, we finally made it to the first escape room. Alright. So this is partly why this game and the sequel is enjoyable, is because it's not just you reading through text. There are also active portions where you actually have to think and sell things. The bulletin board. Looks like someone put a note on it. About items. Yep. Press Y will take you to the item screen. Okay. The item visible in the left is currently in hand. When you close the item screen, the last selected item will be in hand. Alright. Picture frame. In an old picture frame, there's a picture of a ship in it. Your screw is keeping the back on. Doesn't seem like there's anything hidden on the sink. This is the only drain in the room. There's a towel next to the sink. Water just keeps pouring through the window. It's like a waterfall. I don't think shoving something into the window is gonna stop the water. In other words, if I don't want to die, I need to find a way out of this room. I have to figure this out. There's a lock on this briefcase. It won't budge. Let's see if there's anything in the keyhole. Okay. The closet. This is the door to the stove. Well, it opens easily enough. Sure wish the door to get out of here was that easy to open. What's this? It looks red. Yeah! Combine. Well, the screwdriver's got the screws off easily enough, and here's the picture. Ooh, we got a code! Yeah, no, okay. We already did that. Well, let's see if there's anything in here. Oh, looks like there is. A key? Yep, that's the key, alright. Little blue one. I can keep looking till the cows come home. All I'm gonna find up here is that pillow. Damn it! Isn't there anything else I can use? The blue briefcase on top of the bed. There's a pipe at the other end of the bed. There's nothing up top. Small key red.
I should probably hold on to this key.
Junpei grabbed the key and shoved it into his pocket. He intended to leave immediately, but something stopped him. His reflection stared back at him from the mirror, but he had scarcely recognized himself.
Oh, what's up with my face?
His confusion was well justified.
I look like a zombie.
His face was drawn and pale, and the dark circles under his eyes made him look as though he was nearly dead.
Man, what the hell happened to me? How did I end up here? I left work, headed back to my apartment, and...
Even as he said it, something in his mind opened, and a memory bopped to the surface. It was the last thing Junpei remembered before waking up in the strange room. It was past midnight when he came home. Junpei shuffled up the stairs and opened the door to apartment 201. Inside was his apartment. A small one-bedroom affair that ran him about $630 a month. He moved into it when he entered college, and so far had been there for 3 years and 7 months.
I'm back. Not like anyone will respond.
Then why are you saying that to yourself, you weirdo? I guess, okay, context, he's Japanese. And when you come home, you usually say "tadaima" to say, "Hey, I'm back." So, I guess he's not that much of a weirdo. He's just Japanese. He stepped inside and turned on the lights. The fluorescent lights on the ceiling blinked and flickered slowly to life, as if waking from a deep slumber.
Man, work was rough today.
Their cold light illuminated the landscape he'd come home so many times before. Everything was as he'd left it. Magazines piled up in the corner, the textbooks collecting dust, CD cases covering the floor, the jeans and t-shirt he'd worn the day before, then tossed onto the floor. There was one thing that didn't belong, however.
Huh? A breeze.
The white curtain framing his window swayed gently in the cold wind.
That's weird. Did I leave that open?
Junpei walked towards the window, trying to remember if he'd closed it or not before he left. One of the panes was hanging open. Stuck his head out and looked around.
Everything looks okay. I must have forgotten to close it.
Close the window. Then it happened.
What?
Junpei turned and found himself face to mask with a man dressed all in black. Face to mask, nice. That's funny. The man wore a deep hood and bulky gas mask. His face was entirely hidden.
Who are...
Suddenly he couldn't finish. Junpei tried to yell, but all he could manage was a strangled croak.
I can't...
Junpei collapsed to the floor, crumbled heap of limbs like a discarded puppet. Too late, he noticed the white smoke that was quickly filling his apartment. Small object, shaped distressingly like a grenade, sat on the floor in front of his face, hissing. The white smoke poured out of it at an incredible rate. Smoke had grown so thick that the details of Junpei's apartment began to fade into the white haze. He could feel his mind begin to fade as well, a white haze that was not smoke creeping into the edges of his vision.
Consider this a privilege. You have been chosen.
A rasping voice wormed its way out of the gas mask. It was cold and harsh, and distorted in some way Junpei couldn't put his finger on.
You are going to participate in a game. The Nonary game. It is a game where you will put your life on the line.
That was the last thing Junpei remembered. The white smoke overpowered him. The masked man faded from his vision, and he felt his consciousness fall away into the whiteness.
That's right. That guy with the gas mask. That son of a bitch must have taken me here. When I get my hands on him...
He ground his seat in frustration and strained to remember anything about his attacker's figure.
Well, I guess there's no way to know if that was a man or not.
The voice had been cold and mechanical, likely passed through a voice changer, and the body had been covered in a thick cloak.
Just who was that? They said, you have been chosen.
What it might mean, that was beyond him.
What the hell is going on? Why me?
There was only one thing from his memory that seemed important.
You are going to participate in a game. The Nonary game. It is a game where you will put your life on the line.
The Nonary game. Huh. What the hell is a Nonary game? God damn it!
With a yell, Junpei drove his fist into the mirror. Alright. Back to the escape. So we got 2 keys. What's up with the bunks on this side? All I can see from down here is the underside of the top bunk. Pretty high up there. Well, I can reach this bunk. Might as well look through it. Huh. Damn. Nothing here. Memo from bed. Alright, at this point we have everything we need. So the red code will be 7485. Let's start with that. Alright, let's stick that red key in there. Not opening. In fact, it's not doing anything at all. Alright, I take that back. I guess I can move the dial now. And then turn the key. I do that, this thing should pop right open. Let's give it a shot. Nope. So, 7485 we said. Yes! I unlocked it. It's opening. Got some red key cards. Alright, and as for the blue... so 0, 2, 6, 3 will be the code. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking at these blue things on these two and putting them together based on this code, right? So 0, 2, 6, 3. Doesn't matter what I do, the single badge gets it. Was this just like the red briefcase? Alright, let's see what happens if I put the blue key in the keyhole. Gonna need some sort of code. Oh. Alright, let's see if these numbers work. I turn on the key and hey, looks like it's working. Yes. Alright, let's open it up. Yes, it opened. Looks like there's something in here. What is this? File? File screen. Digital root. Let's see here. Review the digital root with the following steps. First, add all the numbers in question to one another. you end up with something greater than a single-digit number, add the digits to one another. For instance, if you have a double-digit number, add the number in the tens place to the number in the ones place. Keep adding digits in this manner until you have a single-digit answer. That final single digit is your digital root. Example, the digital root of 678 would be 6 plus 7 is 21, 2 plus 1 is 3. Therefore, the digital root of 687 is 3. Example, digital root of 1, 2, 3, 4 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. Therefore, the digital root of 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1. I see. So I just keep adding numbers until I get a single digit number. Oh, looks like there's something on the back of this thing. A notebook, a pen, and a calculator. And a stack of key cards. Huh. Alright. Okay, we talked about digital root, controls, whatever. Left screen, yep. Yep. Nothing special here, just escape tips. These cards have numbers on them. I'm pretty sure this is where I'm supposed to use them. Alright, let's slide these cards and see if they work. And... whoop. Huh? It's not working? Why? Damn it! No, that's right. I still have cards I haven't used. Damn it! Not again. There aren't any more cards in here. I've only got one other hint. Of course, the files! That file said something about a digital root. The digital root. The digital root, huh? What am I supposed to do with... There's a 5 on that door. You have to get a digital root of 5? I'm not really sure about this. Ah, whatever, it's worth a shot. See if this works. I'll just slide the cards that give me the digital root of 5 through the reader. So, when it comes to digital roots, we're essentially working at with numbers mod 9. So any multiple of 9 will essentially cancel out. Which means, to get a digital root of 5, we're gonna need 14. 14, which we can get, for example, using these 3. Beep. Alright, I think this is gonna work. There we go, that's a new noise. Huh. Did it just unlock? Wow, the light was red and now it's blue. No doubt about it. There's nothing keeping me in here now. Time to go. You found it. Accompanied by a wall of angry water, Junpei shot out of the room and into the opposite wall.
Ow!
The water tossed and turned him like a washing machine, and he only stopped rolling when he hit his head on the wall.
My head. Wait, is it over? Whew. That felt too much like being flushed down a toilet. Damn.
Junpei struggled to his feet in the still rushing water.
Well, better than drowning, I guess. Am I in a hallway?
The water that had followed him out of the room was rapidly pouring out of the door. He flowed quickly down the hallway and slammed to the foot of the short flight of stairs.
Oh.
Just 5 steps, in fact. And at the top of the short staircase...
A door. Another door. Damn this water. Ugh. Let me go.
Junpei leapt up the stairs straight toward the door.
Huh, yes, it opened.
The door burst open, and Junpei exploded out of it, only to freeze in his tracks. What other possible response could there have been to what he saw?
What the hell?
His voice trailed off, and all he could do was stare. Polished floor stretched out before him, ornate staircases rising up from the edges, each one of them equidistant from the others. Stairs and pillars were solid wood, and Art Nouveau embellishment and decorations covered the walls and pillars. It looked like nothing so much as the entrance to a luxurious mansion from the early 1900s.
This is the inside of a ship?
Junpei couldn't help but wonder.
Well...
Water quickly filling the hallway behind him suggested that, yes, he was. As he looked, a fresh wave rolled out of the room he'd been in, gathering speed as it moved toward the stairs.
Yeah, that's what I thought. This is totally, Wait, what the hell? A wave? Oh, shit! Shit! Okay, I gotta get out of here.
Junpei spun around, his wet shoes squeaking in protest on the polished floor, and ran toward the tremendous staircase in front of him.
C deck.
Definitely your ship.
B deck. Hurry! Hurry!
As he ran, he glanced quickly at the plates mounted on the wall, denoting the decks of the ship.
A deck's next.
He took the stairs two at a time, not entirely sure what he would find himself. Just as he began to wonder where, in fact, the stairs did lead,
What?
Junpei saw another person out of the corner of his eye.
People.
Stopped short, nearly tripping over the next stair, and looked. It wasn't just one person he'd seen. On the way to the left of the stairs, there were 4 people staring at him. One with very provocatively dressed, with her boobs all out. And on the right side, 3 more.
A lot of people.
All told, there were 7 of them. It looked as though they had been on their way down the stairs. They stopped short when they saw Junpei, their eyes wide. He'd done the same, of course, and now they stood there staring at one another. Junpei didn't move, one foot placed awkwardly on the next step in the middle of his stride. Who were these people? The entire interaction lasted only a matter of seconds. The woman spoke to Junpei, and time began to move again.
I guess it's another one of us now.
A dancer.
The woman was dressed, Junpei thought, rather like a dancer. Her clothes covered very little, and her prodigious jewelry little more. To me, it's... when you're showing your hip bones, that's maybe a little low, especially for being stuck on a ship in a life and death situation. But hey.
No, I'm not. You better get moving.
With no further ceremony, she ran straight past Junpei and towards the door behind him.
Oh, okay then.
The sudden proximity of a woman with such striking assets left Junpei momentarily stunned. But the others wasted no time and quickly followed the strange woman.
Silver hair?
Huh?
The first to pass Junpei was a young man with silver hair. He threw a quick glance in Junpei's direction as he ran, muttering.
One of us, huh?
What?
Nothing.
Following him was an older man, his face calm and without fear. Soft wrinkles spread from his eyes, and he came close enough as he passed for Junpei to see wisps of gray in his hair. Composure and shock of hair struck Junpei as rather that of an elderly lion.
Going up won't do you any good. There are 2 doors, but neither of them will open.
Wait, hold on. The doors won't open?
The next to speak to Junpei was a girl with pink hair and a high voice.
Come on! Aren't you coming? You gotta hurry!
Her small hand was wrapped around the wrist of another man. His eyes were closed, almost as though he were sleeping. His features were graceful, almost serene. And he was dressed rather elegantly for someone his age. Something about his posture seemed very refined, and Junpei couldn't help feeling he was noble and dignified somehow. He'd certainly never seen one, but this man seemed like what Junpei had always imagined a prince would look like.
That's 9 of us then. All of the cards are in hand.
What does that mean? Junpei opened his mouth to ask what the other man meant, but the girl with pink hair rushed past him.
Wait! They're gone. Just what is going on? There's an old man like a lion, a girl with pink hair, and a prince, and I have no idea what they're talking about.
He turned just in time to see 2 more people running toward him. One of them had hair like a bird's nest and looked as though a stiff breeze might topple him. The other was a veritable mountain of a man. Great chat! The scrawny one scuttled past Junpei as though he were running from something.
What was that all about?
Hey! What the hell are you you just standing there for? Didn't you hear him? The doors on A deck are no good. We gotta check the doors on B deck. Got it? Now go!
Before he had a chance to respond, the man laid a massive hand on Junpei's shoulder. With no more effort than Junpei would have used to brush aside a fly, the man shoved him out of the way. Thrown off balance by the man in recent events, it took Junpei a few steps to get his bearings. He finally regained his balance and looked up at what the other 7 had been running toward.
Hey man, that was dangerous. Huh?
There were 2 pairs of large iron doors set in the wall in front of him. They looked quite sturdy and each had handles jutting from them. Written across the surface of each door in red paint was a number. The door on the right...
4? And this one says... 5.
They're the same.
The guy Junpei had decided to call Silver was mumbling to himself.
I woke up and had a number on the door just like that.
You too, eh?
With an arched eyebrow, the lion looked over at Silver.
My cell was the same. A number upon the door. I opened it, ran down the hallway outside, and found myself in a rather grand room full of stairs, as I suspect did the rest of you.
It was as though the floodgates had been opened. They all began to talk at once.
Me too.
Same for me. There was a door with a number on it.
It soon became clear that each one of them had awoken in a room with a locked door and solved the puzzle to escape. It all ended up in the same room, almost as though it had been guided there.
Yes, we all saw the same thing. That's not important. We need to hurry.
You think I don't know that lady?
Before the dancer had time to finish, Silver was already running.
Open! Damn it!
Grabbed a hold of the door labeled 5 and pulled. However...
Fuck, it's not opening. This damn thing won't even budge.
Out of my way!
The mountain grabbed Silver's shoulder and tossed him aside. Path cleared, he took a few steps back, then threw himself at the door. Once. Twice. 3 times. 4 times. Try 5, maybe that's what opens the door. The door shook as his body slammed into it, but showed no signs of breaking or opening. The mountain threw himself at the door again.
A body slam from a guy that big didn't even budge it. There must be some other way.
Junpei turned toward door 4. Next to the door on the wall was a small box.
This looks just like the device next to the door in that room earlier. So that means this door is probably locked too. But still...
He had to check. Junpei grabbed the handle and threw all of his weight onto it. It was locked as tight as the door next to it, as he suspected.
Damn it!
Junpei punched the door. It did not respond.
Are there any other doors?
He'd barely finished the thought when the C-deck plate he'd passed on his way up sprang, unbidden, to his mind. His body moved before he had time to think. Junpei turned and ran back toward the stairs. He had scarcely taken a step when, at the top of the stairs, next to an ornate clock embedded in the wall, he saw a person. It was a girl. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh. She looked to be the same age as Junpei. He froze, unable to look away from her face. He wasn't confounded by her beauty or something equally silly. No, there was another reason he couldn't take his eyes off the girl. Junpei had seen her somewhere before. He couldn't quite remember where, but he knew. He knew he'd met her before. The girl, too, stared at Junpei, similarly stunned. Her response suggested she'd seen him before as well.
Huh?
Without saying a word, Junpei walked slowly towards her. She didn't move. It was almost as though she was held in place by some sort of magic spell. As Junpei stepped onto her landing, the spell broke. No sooner had he set his foot down, the whole ship shook a second time. The quick caught the girl unprepared, and she fell. Moving on instinct, Junpei leapt to catch her. Or so he thought.
Oh.
Her face was far closer than it should have been, mere inches away from Zone.
Yeah.
Was flat on his back, and she had landed squarely on top of him. The girl seemed as confused as he did, and her face suggested she still hadn't fully recovered from seeing. For a moment that seemed to stretch for a very long time, she stared at one. The ship stopped shaking. Everything was quiet. Water could be heard from the bottom of the ship, lapping faintly at walls and ceilings, but eventually that faded as well. Silence was complete, thick, muffling blanket. At last, the girl opened her mouth.
Oh my gosh! Is that you, Jumpy?
Jumpy. Her words echoed through Jumpy's head, and suddenly his memory returned.
Akane.
Why hadn't you realized it before? The girl was Akane Kurashiki. She and Junpei had been friends in childhood. They'd gone to elementary school together for 6 years. But what was she doing on the ship? Her soft eyes were only inches away from his own. He could feel the warmth of her face. Feelings he'd thought long forgotten began to work their way to the surface. He could feel his face heating up. At that moment,
What?
What's that voice?
they hurriedly untangled themselves from one another and struggled to their feet. Their 7 companions had heard the voice as well, and many of their faces had gone pale. They looked around frantically, desperate to locate the source of the voice. At last they found it. The speaker said to the ceiling. You're really garbled, man. You should try to speak more clearly. The voice was harsh, obscured occasionally by the crackle of static.
This is...
Junpei recognized it. How could he have forgotten it?
That guy in the gas mask! Hey, asshole! What the hell is this? Come on out here. I want to get a look at you.
What do you mean to do to us?
Nonary game.
What the hell's that?
The voice continued implacable.
What is he talking about?
Hey, there's something in my pocket. Check this out.
Silva reached into his pocket and pulled out a small slip of paper. The rest of them reached into their own pockets and pulled out similar slips of paper. Junpei followed suit and dug into the pocket of his pants. He felt a telltale crumple of paper slightly damp from his earlier ordeal.
Hey, I got one too.
Then it would seem Zero has seen fit to grace us each with a letter. Would you mind terribly reading it to us, young man?
His request had been delivered to Junpei, who, after a short moment of surprise, did as he'd been asked.
On this ship, you will find a handful of doors emblazoned with numbers. We will call them the numbered doors. The doors in front of you are a pair of the same. The key to opening these numbered doors are the numbered bracelets that each of you possess. Should you total the numbers on your numbered bracelets and find that the digital root of that number is equal to the number of that door, the door will open. Only those who have opened the door may pass through. There are, however, limits. Only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door. All those who enter must leave, and all who enter must contribute. So this thing on my arm is a bracelet.
He glanced around, looked like everything else had won as well, and had come to much the same conclusion.
The purpose of the game is simple. Leave this ship alive. It is hidden, but an exit can't. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
There's one last thing I must tell you. As you have no doubt surmised, this ship has begun to sink. On April 14, 1912, the famous ocean liner Titanic crashed into Earth's moon after remaining afloat for 2 hours and 40 days. It sank beneath the waters of the North Atlantic. I will give you more time. 9 hours. That is the time you will be given to make your escape.
Voice finished. The speaker went silent.
I hear a bell. I think it's coming from over by the stairs.
It's the clock telling us the time.
Everyone had their eyes on the antique clock embedded in the wall. The sound of the 9th bell faded away. The 10th never came.
It rang 9 times, so 9 o'clock then?
I think it's 9 p.m. I couldn't see anything when I tried looking out the window earlier. It has to be nighttime.
If that is the case, then we would need to escape by 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Now it is time. Let our game begin. I wish you all the best of luck.
Speaker went silent. Did not speak.
Hey! You bastard! What do you mean by that?
That guy won't stop shouting. And the others.
Deep conversations all around. Jinpei too was consumed by his thoughts.
I have way too many questions. Who is Zero? What's the Nonary game? What's it for? Is he some nutjob just doing this to mess with us, or does he have some other purpose? Why pick me to be part of this insane game? And the others? Why are these 8 people here? And the most confusing of them all. Why is Akane here? I haven't seen her since elementary school. Why her? Coincidence? No. There's no way. There has to be a reason. I don't know what exactly, but there has to be.
Very well.
Lion's voice seemed oddly loud in the silence.
Standing around here won't do us any good. Best we get moving, don't you think?
Get moving?
Are you planning to open the numbered doors? Hey, wait! But don't tell me you're actually gonna do what this Zero says.
No, that's not what I mean.
Lion shook his head, mildly annoyed.
I'm saying let's find another way. After all, we haven't really examined this place yet.
What?
Where have we not looked? Everyone searched A-Deck already, right?
Yeah, we were kind of in a rush though, so we probably missed some things.
Why don't we check out the lower floors first? We should see how deep this place goes.
I can work with that.
Then let's go.
Whoa! What the hell? It's completely submerged.
Damn. If the water level keeps rising like this, we're all gonna drown.
No, I don't believe that's something we have to worry about.
The prince knelt down and gently drew his hand across it.
See? The water's not flowing. That means the origin of the water has been stopped. Perhaps this Zero fellow has used some sort of remote control to seal a watertight door lower down. He said that our time limit was 9 hours. In other words, this water won't rise for 9 hours.
Then you're saying we won't sink till then?
Well, that may be a little too optimistic. No point to wishful thinking.
That's depressing.
If we don't determine a way to advance from this point, we are stuck on A-Deck and C-Deck.
Looks that way.
Hey, hold on. How about we check C-Deck before we jump to any conclusions? We might find something there.
You're right. I think we should look at the metal doors by the big staircase, too. They're pretty suspicious.
No numbers on either door, and I don't see an authentication device either. Nope, it's locked.
This one too. Damn, none of the doors are opening.
Hey guys, over here. There's another door behind the stairs.
This one doesn't open either.
We'll see about that. Hey, old man, give me a hand.
Using force, I see. Let's give it a try. It won't budge.
Could you not just start shouting out of nowhere? You almost gave me a heart attack, you know.
Oh, sorry.
I get very intense.
It doesn't appear to have moved even with two of us trying.
Also haven't pooped
It's
yet.
very well made.
Idiots. Try using your brain first.
Huh?
Take a closer look.
A keyhole?
Right. It's obvious what we need to open this door.
A key, huh?
You got a problem?
No, I just really doubt we'll find a key that easily.
Ignoring the tense air between the two, Junpei moved closer to examine the doorknob.
What's this?
Just above was a strange mark in the shape of a circle surrounding a
There's
dot.
a mark on it. Does it mean something?
Hey, look! Over here, too!
Hmm?
Pink Hair was looking at double doors he hadn't examined yet.
More doors.
I think they're elevators. There's an inverted triangle button by them.
May as well try pressing it. Huh. Nothing.
Maybe the power isn't on.
Or we need to do something with this. And there's a strange mark here, too. What is this? It looks like a lowercase h with a dash drawn across the upper stem of the H.
Junpei stared at it for a while.
This is the symbol of Saturn. It's an astrological symbol.
Then the mark on the other door.
I think that was the sun symbol. We saw the same symbols on A deck.
We did?
I don't remember that.
A deck, huh? I haven't been there, so I wouldn't know.
We may as well check again since we're talking about it.
Lion's words urged them on, and they took the stair up.
There, the two doors next to the stairs. The one on the left had a keyhole with a similar symbol engraved on it.
She's right. It looks similar to what we saw downstairs.
This is an Earth symbol. The horizontal line symbolizes the equator, and the vertical one represents the prime meridian.
You know, Akane, all this astrological knowledge kind of turning me off a little bit.
I see.
Junpei looked up at the ceiling.
The ceiling. Metal plates. Huh. It's as if it's covering something up.
Perhaps it was a dome of some kind.
I wish we could get out through there.
Be realistic. We'd need a lot of explosives to open that up.
The windows, too. Huh. They're all covered.
There were several windows along both sides of the ship, or at least there had been. They too were covered with metal plates.
In other words, we're trapped. All the exits go nowhere.
Junpei was not happy. The girl with pink hair spoke up.
Well, I'm sure they go somewhere. We just can't open them.
Then the mountain spoke.
You don't know that. For all we know, they just open into walls or take us in circles.
The prince did not agree.
No, I'm sure they go somewhere. Otherwise, what point would there be? And we can open them. Well, two of them at least.
Oh, you mean the numbered doors.
All eyes turned towards the doors with numbers on them. The atmosphere in the room grew tense.
Hey, wait a minute. I think I said this earlier, but I don't think we should do that.
The dancer moved in front of the doors as if to block them.
We'd have to be crazy to open these doors. If we do that, we're doing exactly what Zero wants us to do.
Suddenly everyone began to speak at once.
May as well give it a shot. We can't stay here forever.
Yes, I'm in favor as well.
No, I'm totally against this.
But shouldn't we at least try?
We don't know what'll happen. We should stay here.
We don't have time for that. In 8.5 hours, this ship is going to sink.
The clamor of voices made it next to impossible to determine who was saying what. Their arguments grew more and more intense until people were shouting and screaming at one another.
Hey, shut up!
They fell silent and all eyes turned to Junpei. He felt each stare burning into him, but he refused to flinch.
Before we try and decide where we're going to go, there's something else we ought to do.
What's that?
We need to exchange information. We don't know anything about each other. I want to know who you guys are. Who you are, where you came from, why you ended up here. Don't tell me you aren't curious too.
They were silent. Some of them looked the other way or bit their lip or crossed their arms and stared at the ceiling. But one of them spoke up. It was Akane.
I agree. I think Jumpy is right.
Jumpy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about him. I just call him Jumpy. His name is Junpei.
He pointed towards Junpei.
We're childhood friends. We went to the same elementary school.
Wait, stop! Don't tell us stuff we didn't ask you about. Zero's probably watching us right now. What are you gonna do if he's listening in?
Oh, would that be bad?
Hell yeah, it would! We don't know how much that bastard knows about us. Maybe he just picked a bunch of random people to kidnap. If that is the case, then it'd be dangerous for us to let him know too much. If Zero knows who we are, he could go after our families. Maybe he'd tell us he had them to get us to do stuff, you know?
But we still need to know what our names are. It's going to be hard to talk to each other if we don't have names.
Alright, then why don't we have code names?
To him, apparently, it seemed like the obvious solution.
Code names?
Yeah, we'll each pick something. Like, I'll be 7.
7? Why are you 7?
It seemed like a fair question. The mountain struck out his left arm.
Because this bracelet number says 7.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
He smirked.
Alright, I'm gonna be Santa. Any of you chumps know Japanese? No? Well, sun means 3. So, I'll be Santa. You know, like Santa Claus. Fits, don't you think?
Then your bracelet number.
Yeah, it's got a 3 on it. Good job, Grandpa.
Just like the mountain had done, Silver thrust out his left arm. Fair enough, the face of his bracelet read 3.
Very well then. I'll go next, shall I? My bracelet number is 1. Given that, I think Ace seems appropriate.
Oh yeah, of course, you go immediately from 1 to, I am number 1.
Which means, of course, that my bracelet number is 8.
Does Lotus have 8 petals? That's okay.
I would appreciate it if you would call me Snake. My bracelet number is 2. Since Ace has chosen cards, then I choose dice. Snake eyes, clearly. Which is particularly relevant given that I am blind.
Oh, okay.
You can't see?
I knew it.
He'd kept his eyes closed during the entire ordeal, which had suggested something strange, but to hear it say it so casually, it was something of a surprise. Everyone seemed a little nervous at the prince's proclamation, but no one seemed to know how to react to it.
Me next!
There was one person, however, who didn't seem to be surprised in the least. The girl with pink hair.
I want to be Clover. You know, like a 4-leaf clover. Good luck, right?
Looking almost bored, she held out her left hand. The face of her bracelet showed the number 4. He'd come around to Junpei. He held out his bracelet.
Alright, my number's 5. So my code name is gonna be...
Why have one? It's not like there's any point to it now.
But I want to be cool too! Come on! Come on! The dancer cut him off in mid-sentence.
I mean, we all know your name already. You're Junpei.
Oh, yeah.
They all nodded. I kind of stepped forward nervously.
Then you should all call me by my name too. Because, I mean, it doesn't...
It doesn't seem fair to Jumpy.
You're thinking it's not cool for you to hide your name after you told us his.
I kind of fidgeted awkwardly. Junpei decided he had to do something.
What's your bracelet number?
It's 6.
She hesitated for a moment and held out her left hand. As she'd claimed, the bracelet face showed a 6. Junpei looked at it for a moment and thought.
Alright then, why don't we call you June?
June?
Yeah, you know, it's the 6th month of the year. So you're June.
Jumpy?
Akane kneaded her hands and looked up at Junpei, uncertain. He smiled back at her
Are
reassuringly.
you good with that?
Yeah.
He thought about it for a few more minutes and seemed to come to a decision and gave Junpei a small nod.
Okay then.
Their names decided, Junpei ran them over quickly in his head.
So this is how everyone breaks down. 1 is Ace. 2 is Snake. 3 is Santa. 4 is Clover. 5 is me. 6 is June. 7 is 7. And 8 is Lotus. That means 8 of us have revealed our bracelet number. The only one left is...
That glasses guy with hair like a bird's nest.
You haven't said a thing so far, have you?
His skin was pale, his breathing was heavy, and he was soaked with nervous sweat. His behavior seemed very suspicious, or perhaps simply emotionally unstable. It was difficult to tell. Whatever the case, it seemed clear that he had only a fingertip's worth of a grip on his sanity. Girl with pink hair, Clover, walked up to him slowly. She put her hands on his hips and eyed him suspiciously.
What number are you?
He didn't answer. Bloodshot eyes twitched from person to person, and his breath came in hot pants.
Hey, I'm talking to you.
The man licked his dry lips with a shaking tongue and spoke with a voice like old paper.
Isn't it obvious? There are 9 people here, and you know who numbers 1 through 8 are. I'm the only one left.
So you're 9?
Yeah.
He extended a trembling arm. Bracelet did indeed say 9. Clover looked at it contemptuously.
What's your code name?
Code name?
What do you want us to call you? We all made up names. You should too.
I don't need one.
Why not?
Because I am not gonna stay here with you.
He took a shuddering breath and exhaled. Clover looked at him with something very like disgust.
You've got some sort of plan?
I do.
Yeah? What's that?
You sure you want to know?
Yeah?
All right. Let me show you. I'm gonna do this.
By the time to realize what he was doing, it was too late to stop him. The man's body moved like a snake's. In the blink of an eye, he had slid around behind her and wrapped his arm around her waist.
Hey! What the hell do you think you're doing?
Silver, Santa, leapt forward toward Clover and the 9th man. He was halfway there when...
Stay back.
Suddenly, the man's hand drove into his pocket.
Ah,
He held it to Clover's pale, quivering neck.
if you get any closer, I'll cut her open. Yeah, that's right.
The man's smile was neither friendly nor reassuring. Sweat poured down his neck, soaking the collar of his shirt.
Clover, are you all right?
The prince, Snake's voice sudden, oddly concerned.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Her voice shook, making her words even less convincing.
What the hell are you trying to do? I told you. This is my plan.
What are you gonna do to her, you sick son of a bitch?
Don't worry. I'm not gonna do anything to. If she just does what I tell her to, I'll let her go.
He started to move backwards, slowly, keeping his grip on Clover.
Slowly. That's right. Just follow me.
Keeping their distance, Junpei and the others followed. Eventually, the man reached the wall. He gave a start as his back touched it, then glanced around quickly and spoke.
Here. Verify. The left. Look on your left. Do you see the device on the wall? Place your hand on the scanner panel, the round part.
What if I don't?
The man's nostril flared and he looked like he was about to choke.
Are you an idiot? What do you think? I could slit your throat right now. I'll kill you if I have to. All I need is your bracelet. Just do it. Do it now.
He pressed the knife against Clover's neck, hard.
Okay, I'll do it.
Slowly, she stretched her left hand towards the device.
Like this?
Her back was to it, and she had to feel around for a moment before she found the circular panel. It made a cold electronic noise, and on the display above her hand, an asterisk appeared.
So that's how it works. He called that round part of the device the scanner panel. If we put our left hand on it, our bracelet number gets entered into the device. Then, should you total the numbers on your numbered bracelets and find that the digital root of that number is equal to the number of that door, the door will open.
Junpei shifted his eyes to the door itself. The number on it was 5.
Or 5. But why does this guy know so much about how this thing works? It's like he knows exactly what to do.
Good. Good. You're done. Next.
His bloodshot eyes crept from person to person until finally, they stopped on the lion, Ace.
You, right? You're the one with the number 1 bracelet, right?
Yes.
Then you're next. Just verify your number like this little brat did. What are you doing? Do it! Don't you care what happens to her?
Okay, just calm down.
Ace held up his hands, palms out. The 9th man jerked his chin toward the device.
I'm coming over.
Slowly, cautiously, Ace moved toward the device. After what seemed like an agonizing eternity, he reached it.
Now, verify.
All right, this is what you wanted, right?
Ace nodded and placed his hand on the scanner panel. The device beeped again and a second asterisk appeared.
Now the device has both Clover and Ace's numbers, 4 and 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. It's the same as the number written on the door, but it won't open yet. Only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door. One more person. If what Zero said is true, he needs one more person. Who? Who does he need?
Get back.
His voice shook, but the knife he held to Clover's throat made his words a command. Ace took 2, then 3 steps back.
No! Farther! More than that! Go all the way back!
Okay.
Slowly, Ace did what he was told. The 9th man's lips curled into a cruel, twisted smile.
Don't tell me.
That was when Junpei understood his plan.
Clover's 4 and Ace's 1. Added to the 9th man's 9. 4 plus 1 plus 9 is 14, and the digital root of 14. In other words...
Thank God you were all so cooperative. Now I can get out of this nightmare.
He pressed his own hand against the scanner panel. A third asterisk appeared on the screen. He dropped his hand to the lever on the side of the device and pulled. The doors opened with a heavy metallic groan.
Good! I don't need you anymore.
He let go of Clover.
Wait!
Junpei leapt towards the 9th man, but he wasn't fast enough.
Here! She's all yours.
The man shoved Clover and hopped through the door.
Okay. Have a good one, guys. I'm going off ahead now. Well then, goodbye.
He raised his hand and waved, a twisted smirk on his face. Then he was gone. Door ground shut with a dull clang of metal on metal.
Clover, are you all right?
Snake ran to Clover's side as she lay on the floor.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Climbed unsteadily to her feet, and once there, leaned heavily on Snake's shoulder for support.
Damn it!
Junpei ran to the door.
Bastard!
The others followed him. Several pairs of hands grabbed hold of the handles and pulled.
Open, damn it!
They grunted and strained, but
Shit! It won't budge.
that was when Lotus, the dancer, spoke. Her voice was quiet.
Do you hear something?
Like, what?
Like some sort of beeping.
Junpei pressed his ear against the cold metal of the door. The others did the same.
You're right. I can hear it too.
What is it?
Then they heard something else. It was the ninth man.
Why isn't it stopping? God damn it! You lied!
Lied?
This wasn't supposed to happen! This is wrong! This is wrong!
His voice shook with fear. They found the outside, they stepped back from the door and looked at one another.
What is happening in there?
Open the door, please! I'm begging you! Help me! Please get me out of here! Get me out of here!
Ah, God damn it!
Junpei grabbed hold of the device. Slammed his hand on the scanner panel. Nothing happened.
Why? Why won't it work? Engaged? Is it because it's occupied?
Oh my god, oh my god! There's no time left! Listen, I was lied to! He lied to me! He put me in here! It was him! He killed me!
Ooh. The explosion rocked the room. Instinctively, they ducked, then stood up slowly when they realized there was. No one spoke. Silence filled the room.
A beep?
All eyes turned toward it.
Did that thing just make that sound?
The display changed from engaged to vacant.
Let's see if we can open it.
7, the mountain, swallowed hard.
Okay.
Junpei nodded and placed his hand on the scanner panel. A red asterisk appeared on the LCD panel.
Well, it registered my bracelet number, but it won't open with one person. We need at least 2 more people.
What to do?
Ace, Lotus, you think you could give me a hand here?
The fun was a little too on the nose, but the mood was still grim. Both Santa and June lifted their left hand silently. He verified that she followed suit.
5 plus 1 plus 8 equals 14. The digital root of 14, 1 plus 4 equals 5. This should do it. Now we just need to pull the lever on the side. You guys ready? I'm gonna open it.
Junpei grabbed the lever and looked back over his shoulder. He stiffed and nodded. Junpei nodded back and set his mouth in a grim line. Then he slowly lowered the lever. There was a metallic groan and the door slid open. A breath of air drifted out of it, carrying a stench that nearly made them gag. Junpei grimaced and put a hand over his mouth.
Oh my god.
Good God.
Lotus and Ace shuddered. 7 grunted.
Whoa, that's pretty bad.
Even Santa's voice shook.
Hey, it blew up.
It appeared that Santa was right. All the way on the other side of the door was splattered with chunks of torn flesh and dark red blood. The shriek echoed across the room. It had come from June. Then her strength left her and she dropped. As Junpei turned to catch her, the door groaned shut. She crumpled to the floor.
June, are you okay?
Junpei dropped to his knees and put his arm around her shoulders. That was when he noticed. Her whole body was feverish. She was radiating intense heat.
What the hell? Where'd this fever come from?
June didn't answer. Her face looked like wax and her whole body began to shake.
Okay, let's just rest for a minute, okay? You think you can walk?
She nodded weakly. Junpei lifted June to her feet and guided her to a nearby chair.
Here we go.
As gently as he could, he set her down in it.
How are you feeling? Are you alright?
She nodded, and as she did, a single huge tear rolled down the side of her face.
Why? Why did this happen?
Her voice cracked, broken by misery and grief and choked by sobs.
Why did this happen?
Junpei spun around.
Do any of you know what the fuck is going on here?
Ooh, throwing an F-bomb, Junpei.
Who's Zero?
Like a man.
What's this nonary game? Come on! Anybody? Anything? What the hell is going on? What are we doing here?
No one spoke. Ace, Snake, Santa, Clover, Seven, and Lotus. They simply stood there. 7 pairs of downcast eyes and 7 grim lines for mouths. June's body shook with silent sobs. They slowed as the minutes ticked by, and eventually they stopped. Then suddenly, in the cold, heavy silence that had enveloped them like a thick fog, a bell began to ring. The clock in the central hall. 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And then, on the 10th ring, it stopped. The sound of the bell faded away into silence.
It's 10 o'clock then.
Ace said what each one of them had been thinking.
That means it's been an hour since Zero's little announcement.
Seven's deep voice echoed across the room.
Fuck! I've had enough of this crap!
Santa leapt to his feet, his fists clenched.
How long are we gonna pussyfoot around like this? We've only got 8 hours until this time limit Zero is going on about is up. Let's get going already! Go! Go!
Santa's outburst fell on deaf ears. No one seemed to agree with him. They stared back at him, their eyes blank and their faces tired. Finally, Lotus spoke.
No, I refuse. I'm not gonna end up like him.
Him? You mean the 9th man?
Of course, who else?
In his mind's eye, Junpei saw the corpse again.
Blood and pieces of flesh.
The dark, reddish-black pool of blood. Scattered pieces of flesh. Organs strewn across the floor like the blossoming of a grotesque flower. The explosion that had torn through his body had been powerful.
There's no way for a person to die.
The 9th man's neck had been twisted at an odd angle. Junpei suspected the detonation had thrown him against the wall. Half of his face was crushed, and the other half was covered in blood. Most of his abdomen had been emptied, either by the explosion or by gravity. He had landed on his back, and stark, white ribs jutted up out of his chest, like the legs of some sort of macabre crab. Junpei felt something flip in his stomach.
I think he just screwed up.
Eyebrows went up, and Santa continued.
Probably set off some sort of trap, and that killed him. I'm not gonna screw up like that. I'm getting out of here alive.
Whatever Snake was laughing at, Santa did not find that particularly humorous.
What's so goddamn funny?
Oh, my apologies. You were just, so very confident. I couldn't help myself.
What the fuck?
I think you've mistaken the situation.
Huh?
The 9th man's death. It had nothing to do with the trap. Or at least, not the sort of trap you imagine it did.
Then?
He broke one of Zero's rules. That was why he died. Quite simple if you think about it.
Huh?
You still don't... All right. How about you take a moment and think back to what Zero said? Specifically, what did he say about the number of people?
He said only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door, right?
And after that? You've forgotten the relevant part. What did Zero say?
Santa furrowed his brow in thought. Junpei thought back. Zero said,
All those who enter must leave, and all who enter must contribute, right? I think it was something like that. Whatever it was, it means that groups of less than 3 or more than 5 can't go through.
That is correct. A gold star for you, Junpei.
Snake inclined his head towards Junpei.
The 9th man, however, broke that rule. He tried to pass through a numbered door by himself. That was why he was executed.
And Zero's watching us from somewhere, making sure we don't break any rules.
Oh, I'm not so sure of that.
Why not?
Because this execution system is entirely automatic. You didn't notice? There's no need for him to monitor us.
What do you mean?
Snake looked at Seven with what only could be described as pity and sighed.
Very well. I see it must be me who tells you. I've waited long enough, I suppose. I had hoped Zero might spare me the trouble, but that seems increasingly unlikely.
Couldn't see them, of course, but perhaps Snake sensed the confused eyes upon him. When Ace spoke, he gave words to everyone else's thoughts.
Do you know something?
Well, I know a great many things, but yes.
What is it you know?
Here.
Snake removed a card from the pocket of his jacket.
Card? What does it say?
See for yourself.
With a flourish, he presented it to Ace, who took a close look at it and spoke.
Come on now, what's the point of giving me this?
Give me that.
Santa snatched the card from Ace, but his expression of disgust quickly turned into one of confusion.
Huh? The hell is this?
Seven tugged it out of Santa's hand.
I see.
The card went from Seven to Lotus, from Lotus to June, and finally to Junpei. He looked at it and understood.
This is Braille.
Braille, the written language of the blind. The card was covered with small embossed bumps. Junpei could recognize it, but certainly couldn't read it.
Sorry guys, I can't read this. Here, have it back.
Junpei handed the card back to Snake, who nodded at him with a small smirk.
Okay, that was fun. What's so important about that card?
I found it in my pocket. I can only assume it is a message from Zero.
From Zero?
A message?
What does it say?
Suddenly, everyone was crowding around Snake, desperate to hear what the message said. Santa especially looked as if he were about to grab hold of Snake and shake the answers from him. Snake raised his hand.
Calm down now. No need to panic. You don't need to force me. I'll read it.
Junpei swallowed hard and waited for him to start. He was not the only one. Presently, Snake began to read his voice calm. Fingers glided over the tiny bumps as he spoke.
Bracelet number 2. Since you are not blessed with sight, I shall bless you, and only you, with information. I shall tell you of the function of the red, of the dead, and of the bracelet.
The red is the recognition device. It will verify your number. Beside every numbered door, you will find a red. The dead is the deactivation device. It does exactly what it says. Once you have passed through the numbered door, you must use the dead to stop the detonator in your bracelet. But perhaps you are wondering, what does this detonator detonate? I am afraid this might be something of a surprise. I have placed a small bomb inside of you, and people whom you are about to meet. You swallowed it while you were unconscious. I have no doubt that by the time you read this note, the bomb will have passed your stomach and found its way to your small intestine. In other words, you will be unable to regurgitate it. I suggest you do not try.
If only we had laxatives.
The bracelet on your left hand contains a detonator. Think of it as a remote fuse, or timer, for the bomb in your body. There is only one condition to cause it to detonate. That condition is that you enter a numbered door. Once you have done so, the timer will activate, no matter who you may be. You will have 81 seconds.
9 times 9.
By time, the detonator has not been deactivated. It will send a signal to the bomb in your body, instructing it to explode. In order to deactivate the detonator, every person who verified their number at the red must also verify their numbers at the dead. Once all numbers have been verified by the dead, you need only pull the lever at its side, and the countdown will cease. Anyone who does not verify their number at the red will find themselves unable to verify their number at the dead. That is to say, if you
Pretty foolproof system.
numbered door without first verifying your number at the red, in 81 seconds, you will be dead.
Probably the people around you as well, but
You must also keep in mind that the numbered doors will close automatically after 9 seconds have passed. So long as the doors open, the dead will not function. You would do well to remember this. Lastly, Let's discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only two ways to do so. One, you escape from this ship. Two, your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or the exotic wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. There is no other way to remove your bracelet. If you attempt to force it off or disable the detonator, the bomb within you will immediately explode.
This is all the information which I can impart to you. How you choose to use it is for you to decide. If used wisely, you can eliminate those who might be a danger to you. For a time, you would be able to control your fate. I wish you the best of luck.
Snake finished reading and carefully returned the card to his pocket.
So it's saying only those who verify their numbers at the red can pass through the numbered doors. Teams can't add or subtract people after they're scanned in. The reds, deads, and bracelets enforce the rules. They're judge, jury, and executioner.
Shit! A fucking bomb! Come out! Come out, damn it!
In defiance of Zero suggestions, both Santa and Seven put fingers on their throat and began to gag. The rest stiffened. Some touched their stomachs, some simply stared at their bracelets. Junpei gingerly touched his stomach.
There's a bomb inside me.
The thought of it made him queasy.
Oh.
His stomach felt oddly hollow and his legs were weak.
What made Zero think creating this horror show of a game was a good idea?
Junpei looked over at the others.
Alright, I'm gonna ask one more time. Do any of you know anything about Zero?
That's a negative, boss. They were all silent, each person waiting to hear what the others would say. Finally, Santa spoke.
Actually, I saw him. I saw Zero when I got grabbed. I didn't see his face, though. Son of a bitch was wearing some kind of gas mask. What the hell? Come on, guys, give me something. You know, like surprise or something?
Instead, it was Santa who looked surprised. There was a moment of silence and then everyone spoke at once.
I saw that too.
I did as well.
Me too. I didn't see inside the mask, though. That mask, it was really scary.
Huh? Oh, so all of our abductions were the same. We were taken from home at midnight. The person claiming to be Zero had a mask on. There was white smoke, and then each of us passed out. We woke up to find ourselves on D-Deck, in a room with a 3-level bunk bed.
How about you, Seven? Did the same happen to you?
Only Seven's story seemed to lack the detail of the others.
Oh, me? Yeah, well, mine was just like the rest of yours.
That was all he had said. It had occurred to Junpei at the time that it sounded somewhat strange, but he didn't press the issue.
Okay, that's good enough for now.
He hadn't done so because there was something that struck him as even stranger.
So, I have a question.
That was the mystery of the relationship between Snake and Clover.
Snake and Clover, you were both kidnapped from the same room, and you woke up together.
Junpei looked at them thoughtfully.
So, what's the deal with the two of you anyway?
It was Clover that answered. Clearly, she felt she had nothing to hide.
We're siblings.
Siblings?
Yes. Snake is my older brother, obviously. That means I'm his little sister. That really so hard to understand?
Junpei was taken aback. The others seemed just as surprised.
She is correct, of course.
He laid his hand on Clover's shoulder.
Are you, surprised?
Well, yeah, but...
Why? There are other people here with connections to one another. Those two, for instance.
Snake pointed at Junpei and June.
Oh, you mean between Jumpy and me?
Ah, yes. You did say you were childhood friends, didn't you?
Wait, you went to school together?
Yeah.
June glanced at Junpei, uncomfortable with the sudden attention.
Well, yeah.
Junpei felt somewhat nervous as well and tried to scratch his head as casually as possible.
Hey, you think maybe we could figure out who Zero is this way?
Yeah, you're right. You connect the dots between the victims, and that leads you to the perp. Textbook stuff.
Junpei. June. Does any of this ring a bell?
Huh. Ring a bell.
Ring a bell?
They looked at one another. And like it was staged, they both tilted their neck at the same time.
Well, perhaps you went to school with the son of a multimillionaire.
A millionaire?
Son?
Well, someone bought this boat and set up all of this. Whoever Zero is, they must be incredibly rich.
Well, we can't be sure of that. To me, this seems as though it's the work of an organization, not an individual. Most likely, Zero is simply the representative of a larger group.
What sort of organization?
It could be a number of things. An army, perhaps, or a research group. Perhaps this is all some sort of psychological experiment.
If it is, then it's a pretty fucked up experiment. I mean, come on! A guy's dead!
The world dead hung in the air, heavy and ominous. The room went quiet again.
I don't know who the hell this Zero asshole is, but I know for sure he's gotta be pretty fucked up in the head to do all this. If this was all one guy, then he's got some serious issues.
Even with the specter of death hanging over them, their discussion continued for some time.
I thought we were finished with that topic.
But then what should we do?
We should talk it through.
Oh my god, enough! All we're doing is talking!
Senta threw up his hands, his voice was filled with irritation.
Talking won't solve anything! It can't help us find our way out of here! You really sure you want to just sit around? We've only got 7.5 hours left. We already wasted an hour and a half of our 9 hours.
Everyone there was already on the edge of panic. What Senta told them only made them feel more intense. No one was willing to argue this time.
You're right.
Very well then. There's only one way for us to proceed.
Sure not gonna be fun running around knowing we gotta jump when Zero says jump.
Well, it's stupid to just sit around here doing nothing.
Well, thanks to Snake's card, at least we have some idea of how this all works.
Correct. And so long as we all follow the rules, we will most likely be all right.
But
But what?
who's going to go in which door?
June looked toward the numbered doors.
Oh yeah, that's right. We can't have any more than 5 people in one door. All 8 of us can't go in the same door.
Then it would seem we will have to split up.
Wait.
Lotus looked terrified.
I'm telling you now, there is no way in hell that I'm going into door 5.
Come on now, don't be selfish.
Call me whatever the hell you want. I'm not going in there. If I'm going to have to walk through all that blood, then I'd rather stay here.
And we were doing so well.
Ace shook his head sadly.
Sorry, but I ain't going in there either. Someone else can go into door 5.
Oh, Santa, not you too.
Hey man, I just bought these shoes. If you think I'm getting some creepy dude's blood all over them, you got another thing coming.
That was the last straw.
What the hell, man? Weren't you the one who kept saying we should get going?
Yeah, so doesn't mean I wanted to go into door 5.
Oh, God.
There was an awkward silence. Finally, Seven spoke.
Fine, I'll go into door 5. I can't go in there alone, though. Anyone else willing to come with me?
There was another long silence. This time Snake was the one to break it.
I'll go.
What?
Don't worry. You'll be fine. We may part now, but I'm certain we'll meet again later.
How do you know that?
Because I do.
That's not an answer! If you're going, I'm going too. I'm going into door 5.
What am I going to do with you?
There's nothing you have to do.
Ace stepped forward.
If I join you, the problem is solved, correct? 7 is 7, and Snake is 2. And if you add Clover's 4 and my 1, the digital route will be 5.
7 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1 is 14. The digital root of 14. 1 plus 4 is 5.
Oh, it works perfectly! The 4 of us can go into door 5.
Wait, what about the other 4? What's their digital route gonna be?
Jump into a quick mental calculation.
Lotus, Santa, June, and me. Our bracelet numbers are 8, 3, 6, and 5. 8, 3, 6, 5. What would our digital route be?
Well, 6 and 5 is 2, 2 and 3 is 5, 5 and 8 is 13, which is 4.
8 plus 3 plus 6 plus 5 is 22. The digital root of 22, 2 plus 2 equal...
It's gotta be, because when you add them all together, you get a total digital root of 0, which means you get a multiple of 9, so...
It's 4. Add up our 4 bracelet numbers and the digital root is 4.
Then we can go into door 4.
Yeah. Huh. That worked out well.
No,
So the
it's
two
math.
would be like this. 7, Snake, Clover, and Ace, they would go through door 5. Lotus, Santa, June, and me will go through door 4. Are these really the teams I want? Beyond door 5 is what remains of the 9th man. I never want to see that thing again, but something's telling me that it'd be a good idea to examine the corpse, even just a little closer. Of course, if I went through door 5, I wouldn't be going with Lotus and Santa. I could bring June with me through door 5, but that means she'd have to see the body in there. I don't want to put her through that.
Junpei was torn.
Should I stay silent and go through door 4? Or should I stop them and insist on door 5?
As he turned his options over and over in his mind, Ace spoke up.
All right then. It seems we've reached a conclusion. Shall we go?
He began to walk toward door
I'm
5.
going through door 5.
Clover and Snake followed, with 7 a short distance behind.
We're over there too, right, Snake?
The door's not going anywhere. Slow down.
Which door?
Ooh, which door? And this is the spot where we're gonna call it for today. I've been enjoying this. I think it works well, assuming I can figure out the audio issues some way. So I think I'm gonna be playing this again in the future. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. You can find me at twitch.tv/gameswithnick. Today, as I'm streaming this, I'm gonna do a big streamathon, so I'm gonna take a break now for a couple hours, go get some errands done, have some lunch, and then come back, and we will finish Assassin's Creed. That is my main goal for today's streams. After that, so we're gonna be playing some, Batman Arkham Asylum, to make up for the fact that we won't be playing it on Sunday. And then if we have some time left, maybe some Sherlock Holmes to wrap it up. All my VODs go live on youtube.com/gameswithnick, so free to like, subscribe, follow, all the good stuff. And I will see you a little bit later today. In the meantime, take care.